The NFL draft is in the books, and it was a weird one this year. Nate Davis, Sean Leahy here at USA Today. Nate, boos for Roger Goodell at the NFL draft this year.
Yeah, and he seemed to handle him pretty well. I think he knew it was coming and was prepared for it. But, a little boost for him. Ratings a little bit down. And, Sean, you can't go head-to-head with Steve Carell in the office when it's his last night.
I think, we'll see how the labor situation plays out. But Roger Goodell seemed to get the message. He told fans, I hear you, I want football too. We'll see if it happens.
And the lockout's back on.
Yes, for now. Okay, some winners and losers, though, from this weekend. You like the New Orleans Saints?
I like you as a loser, Sean, since your dry cleaning didn't come back. But I think the Saints had a good draft, getting probably two potential starters in round one with Cameron Jordan and running back Mark Ingram from Alabama. And I like two of the picks they got later. Greg Romeus, former Big East Defensive Player of the Year, defensive end in the 7th round. And they also got Martez Wilson, a very highly regarded inside linebacker from Illinois in round 3. Maybe he takes over for Jonathan Vilma someday, but probably starts in the strong side, or could start in the strong side, fairly soon. They're a year removed from the Super Bowl. They're reloaded.
It cost them a first-round pick to get Mark Ingram.
It did, but I think they're in a win-now mode, and I applaud them for going after it.
Browns picked up a big piece in the middle of their defensive line, right? You like them as a winner too?
A couple. They got Phil Taylor, nose tackle. They got Jabal Sheard at defensive end, and more importantly, also like Greg Little, the UNC receiver they got. More importantly, they got 5 picks from Atlanta, including a first-rounder next year. I think they knew that they're not ready to compete with the Ravens and the Steelers, so they're building for the future. I like the course they took.
It seems like a new era. This is the second year of it, but Mike Holmgren is really changing that franchise.
Well, they're certainly changing things over. New defense, new coach. And I think obviously the Browns fans are ready to get back to the playoffs. Only once in their decade plus back in the league. And I think you got to be a little bit excited if you're Cleveland, even if it's going to be a little bit more of a process.
Not everyone was a winner in this draft. The Redskins, are we looking at them as maybe one of the losers this year?
Well, yeah, I hate to call them a loser outright, and obviously not with free agency not happening as of yet. But I kind of question what they did. For so many years they traded up and traded picks away. This year they kept trading down and amassing picks, but I'm not sure this was the right draft to do that, given the lack of depth in this draft. And also, it seems to me they keep drafting 4-3 players. Talking about Ryan Kerrigan, and you're talking about Jenkins, their defensive tackle out of Clemson. Talking about London Fletcher and Albert Hainsworth. I don't understand why they don't run the 4-3. And all that aside, it looks like John Beck is still their quarterback right now.
Right. They went into the draft with a huge question: who's going to play quarterback? And they come out of it with no answer.
Rex Grossman's a free agent. You got to think the bridge is burned with Donovan McNabb. So either they're going with John Beck or they're going back to square one and getting a veteran like they did last year. And I just don't know that. I don't know what the plan is. I assume that they do.
A lot of teams did solve their quarterback questions, though. Cincinnati, Minnesota, Tennessee, among the teams picking up quarterbacks. Cincinnati, interesting one with Carson Palmer, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think this gives Carson Palmer, this seems like the Bengals conceding that they're going to let him move on and maybe trade him and get some value down the road when they can trade him.
Are they conceding it, though, or are they is this another chip saying, Carson Palmer, you want to retire, that's fine, we're ready to move on without you?
It could be either way. Carson Palmer they could say, okay, we're ready to move on without you. We're going to trade you. We're going to get something for you. If they decide to stick it to him and make him retire, and he wants to come back and get paid, he can do that too. And he's got AJ Green to throw to, so that's not bad either. As for the other teams, Christian Ponder in Minnesota, Jake Locker in Tennessee, they could play right away, or those are teams that could go out and get veterans too and let those guys sit a little bit before they throw them into the fire. Either way, I think those are both guys that are in good situations, good running teams, good defenses.
One guy who didn't turn out too well in this draft process, not through any fault of his own, Kevin Kolb.
Kevin Kolb, yeah, I really kind of have to feel for him because the Eagles could not move him because of the lockout, and I'm not really sure they have any incentive to do so now. He might have gotten a first-round pick for them had they been able to trade him during the draft, before the draft. Now that they can't, they can't get a 2011 pick for them. So they may as well play him, or keep him for 2011, Sean. Have him back up Michael Vick, who Michael Vick gets hurt a lot, and then after the season they can slap a franchise tag on him, much like the Patriots did with Matt Castle, and get a 2012 pick for him, a year from now, while having the benefit of having him as their backup quarterback.
Could also happen when the doors to free agency and player movement also open. Teams like Seattle out there do need a quarterback, but like you say.
It could be, but if I'm the Eagles, I really have, given that they're not going to get anything better than a 2012 pick now, what incentive do I have to trade him now as opposed to trading him after the season? And I'm not sure there's that much unless some team like Seattle is just going to blow them away with an offer.
That's the wackiness of the schedule this year with the labor impasse. Canceling out free agency. As with all of these, draft grades that we do every year, it's too early to tell. We can't really put, an accurate grade on it for a couple of years, but we like to try.
We do like to try.
All right.
So.
That's all for us here at the NFL Draft. See you again at usatoday.com.